Fallout is trending again, and the Wasteland needs a new mixologist, and that new mixologist is me. Everybody loves Fallout right now, and everybody seems to be replaying Fallout 4, especially after the brand new update, bringing 60 frames, new mods, new graphics, all sorts of good stuff. I mean, I'm playing it again for maybe the 10th time. The Dirty Wastelander is a simple cocktail that first debuted in Fallout 4. All it is Irish whiskey, a little bit of Nuka Cola, and the very easy task of finding a mutfruit and adding it to a cocktail. Now, if you've seen mutfruit before, they look just like a blueberry, but also a blackberry, so why not stick with me? I'm gonna teach you how to make candied blackberries that taste like blueberries. It's really cool, and it's absolutely perfect for mutfruit, which is, by the way, a mutated fruit. So anyone saying mutfruit out there is just wrong. And if you heard me say it before, I was trolling you, so I got you. Let me teach you how to make mutfruit. So essentially what we're doing is we're just making tanghulu. But the way I'm doing it is I'm actually gonna be adding blueberry syrup to the water. That way we get a blueberry sugar coating on the blackberries, which I think is just gonna make so much sense for mutfruit. So the ratio you're gonna wanna do is 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. That means we're doing a cup of sugar, therefore half a cup of water. There we go, half a cup of water in the pot. Now we add our cup of sugar. Now we're gonna take our blueberries that are soaking in light syrup and add just a little bit of syrup into that. Here is the confusing part for a lot of people. You don't wanna shake up this syrup. You just wanna do a little mix right there in the beginning. Other than that, let this go. You want this to thicken on its own because trust me, it will. Once this actually thickens up and is ready to go, then we can start making our mutfruit. While we're waiting though, because it does take a while, we're gonna start throwing blackberries onto skewers. This is gonna make our job so much easier. And today I want at least 10, 15, 20, who knows how many mutfruit. So I'm gonna have these loaded up and ready to go. So another thing that you're gonna wanna have ready is a pitcher of ice water because you're gonna dunk each tanghulu piece, each mutfruit, right into the ice water. That way it hardens perfectly. There's our ice water. Now this is looking good, guys, but here's how to tell if it's ready to go or not. You stick your little stick in. You stick it right in there in the ice water. Let's see, is it crunchy? No, it's not crunchy. Your sugar needs to be crunchy before you start dipping anything. But we're getting close. We're good. All right, now we're gonna turn this on to low. It's officially hard, I put it in there. So now we are going to just dip these blackberries into the mixture, dunk them in the ice water. Keep it going, dunk, dunk, twist, and dunk. And listen to this, listen to this. Oh, that's delicious. You guys should have seen it. I mean, like we could do maybe like a reenactment here. I start sweating. And there's just burnt sugar everywhere. I'm melting the tanghulu. Ivan's slapping as many as he can on here. It was a good time. I had fun. And there we have it. There is plenty of mutfruit. This is very hot sugar water, and you should dispose of it responsibly. Do not pour it down your kitchen sink. I wouldn't do that. Be a bad idea. All right, and like I said, that was incredibly easy. Let's go ahead and try one of these. Oh shoot, I lost my fruit. I'm losing all of them. Let's get one of these bad boys out of here. All right. Oh, that is so good. That's crazy. Okay. They taste good. That's pretty much all that matters. I'm doing a little bit of an experiment today. So I'm doing a doubly large recipe. If you wanna do just one Dirty Wastelander, you're not gonna wanna follow this recipe, just have it. So the first things first, I am going to do 6 pieces of mutfruit. Son of a gun. All right, we had some technical difficulties, but here we are, 6 mutfruit. This is already where I'm twisting up the recipe. Now, technically, the Dirty Wastelander doesn't call for any citrus, but it's just not gonna be balanced. And we wanna make a good cocktail. We don't wanna just make an average gaming cocktail. We know how game devs treat their cocktails. They don't know what they're doing. They could easily hit up any bartender. I'd be ecstatic to help them make a new Fallout cocktail. But let's make one that's balanced. We'll throw in juice from a whole lime, because remember guys, I am doubling up this recipe. Now, I have yet another dilemma here, guys. The in-game recipe calls for Irish whiskey. I'm just gonna use regular old bourbon. I think this comes down to preference. If you have an Irish whiskey that you really like, a bourbon that you really like, a whiskey that you really like, go ahead and use that in this recipe. But this comes down to personal preference and not so much something that makes sense, because I really don't think Irish whiskey would be the most popular liquor left in the wasteland 200 years later in rural America. And again, I'm doubling this up, so I am doing 4 ounces of bourbon. Yeah, now you're probably wondering at this point, why haven't I muddled those mutfruit? How are they gonna get shattered? It just doesn't make sense. Well, I'll show you why I haven't muddled them. I have a large cube that we're shaking with today, one giant rock, and that's gonna decimate everything in my shaker tin. Let's shake it up. All right, for this experiment to run perfectly, we have to have equal ratios here. So let's pour this out into 2 equal cups. I am double straining. This is just down to personal preference. These bits would just be kind of annoying. So I don't really want blackberry bits in my Dirty Wastelander today. I think realistically though, you would get bits in there. I don't know a lot of seasoned mixologists in the Wasteland. And I know even less that are gonna have a strainer for your nice fancy cocktail. All right, now here's what I need you guys for. In my humble opinion, I truly believe that Nuka Cola would taste like Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is technically not a cola, but it is a cola. It has cola flavors in there. And all that makes it a cola is having certain flavors. There are so many different flavors of Coke and they're still considered a cola. And Coke is just not as fruity. Nuka Cola is canonically fruity. Besides the branding is on point. It looks just like a Nuka Cola. I think that flavor-wise, Nuka Cola would taste so much more like a Dr. Pepper. So, for that sake, I wanna make one with Coke and one with Dr. Pepper and see which one tastes better. We're gonna add about 3 ounces. Maybe a little more. 1 cube. 1 cube. Perfect. I'm a classy guy. I'm gonna give this a little stir. I don't even wanna contaminate it. I'm gonna stir it with the other side. We don't want any cross-contamination here, guys. All right, so we have the Dirty Wastelander ×2, one with Dr. Pepper, one with Coke. Let's see which is better. You got the bourbon coming through, a nice citrus taste. You got the berry undertones, and it's not just blackberry. You got blueberry too. It almost reminds me of an alcoholic dark berry Dr. Pepper. They brought that out for one of the Jurassic World movies. It was really good. I think it might be better with Coke. That's crazy. But this one's definitely fruitier. I gotta try them again. Let's try this one first. Yeah, this one is more like your standard, almost like a fruity Cuba Libre with bourbon. So it's not bad. It's balanced, it's good. It's a good cocktail for sure. I made my decision. The Dirty Wastelander with Dr. Pepper tastes better and is more accurate. It really is. It's fruity, it's delicious. They both taste like they have cola in there, which is the main argument people give me for Dr. Pepper. They say that it needs Nuka Cola. It's gonna taste like cola. The Dirty Wastelander is cola. They taste very similar. This one just tastes less fruity. Argue with me all you want. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Dr. Pepper is more like Nuka Cola than Coke. That's what this comes down to. So there you have it, guys. That is not just one recipe for the Dirty Wastelander. That is 2 recipes. And we made mutfruit. It was delicious. This was incredibly fun to make, and it actually isn't that hard. Making the candied mutfruit, which is essentially just making tonghulu, is actually really, really simple. Nothing too hard. Just be careful with the sugar. Don't burn anything because it gets hot. But if you're gonna make these, it's gonna be absolutely worth it. I promise. So there you are, guys. That's why I'm the best mixologist in the entire Wasteland.